Because the word motherfucker is a noun. It describes a person, place, or thing.
It's the motherfucking pie. Crew members. What up? What's up? What's down? It's your boy Beanie Man, aka Mr. Headquarters. And to my right, I have another special guest in the building and back again for the second week in a row, man. We got the podcast straight out of Jackson, Mississippi. You heard me? We got Jock Johnson from the Jock Johnson Podcast. What up,
What's up? Back in here, man.
Yeah, yes indeed, man. Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Yo, man, we got a lot to talk about right quick, man. We got the Super Bowl coming up in the NFL season, man. We got the final game of the NFL season for 2023-2024 season, man. We got the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the Kansas City Chiefs in a rematch. A rematch from, what is that, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's 2 years ago.
From 2 years ago. But first, before we get up into that, before we get into the picks, and before we get into the preview of everything for the Super Bowl, for Super Bowl 40, tell me about the games from last week that you saw. We had the Chiefs against the Ravens, and then we had the 49ers against the Lions. We almost had the Hood Super Bowl. We almost had it, bro. We almost had Detroit against Baltimore. You know, we didn't come out that way, but tell us what you thought of the last two games, man.
The Baltimore game. I thought Baltimore was going to pull it out because I actually picked Baltimore to win that game and to win it all. But man, to me, Lamar Jackson seemed like he wasn't himself.
Nah.
He choked, man. He choked. Man, because you know the magnitude of that game. Maybe because they might have had him contained, but they try to make Lamar this kind of pocket passer, now standing in the pocket and throwing the ball. But game of this magnitude, you got to do what it takes to win the game if you're trying to get to the big game. I seen one instance, man, where it was 3rd and 1, and he's scrambling.
Yeah.
He's scrambling. You could have ran that shit, man. He could have ran it. And, it was a number of plays, man. It had one play where he got it picked off in the end zone.
That was that was big. That probably almost iced the game for them.
Yeah, I think Diggs was open on that play across the middle.
Yeah, he
was. He decided to go downfield to the end zone. You got 3 defenders there.
Mm-hmm.
And you threw it in there. And then, of course, the fumble at the goal line.
That was crucial too.
Yeah, it was crucial, man. It was some crucial plays in that game. But what happened? You see what happened. So
you got my homie Kelsey and them Chiefs. Me and EJ called them the Chiefs. They ain't the Chiefs. They just Mahomes and Kelsey and them, because I feel like a lot of times it's just Patrick Mahomes pulling some bullshit out his ass, which I'm a big.
I left the door open for that, though. I left the door open for that shit when I made that pick.
Yeah, you did, and you called that shit. I said, you said, don't count them out.
Don't count them out. I left the door open because I was kind of feeling edgy on that shit, man. I wanted to see Lamar win, but when you're going against Mahomes, man, you got to really be putting a whooping on their ass, man, in order to feel comfortable on down in the game and knowing that you're gonna win. So, man, they made a lot of mistakes in that game, man. The Ravens did. I expected Lamar to run the ball, though. I really did expect him to run the ball in that type situation because you trying to get to the Super Bowl and it didn't happen. So
yeah, man, it was kind of bittersweet for me because I am a big Patrick Mahomes fan. Outside of being a Saints fan, you know what I'm saying? I did call the Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year, to not only make the Super Bowl, but to win the Super Bowl, which meant they had to go through the Chiefs. And I picked the Chiefs the last 2 seasons before that. I should have went with my normal thought, man. Don't go up against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. And they just got a formula that works over there.
Yeah.
And especially in the AFC, they pretty much like the new New England Patriots of the AFC now. They just got it on lock.
Yeah.
No matter how much we count them out, how much they actually had to retool, they had to operate with some young receivers, some unproven receivers.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco has been a X factor. I've been saying that for the past couple of weeks before the playoffs hit off. Pacheco has been a major, major factor for them at running back that has not been talked about in the main media. And their defense this season has been really, really low key, really good.
Yeah.
Compared to the previous seasons. It hasn't been a dominating defense. It's more like a bend, don't break type of defense.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that year, the 2009 Saints was very opportunistic. They would just cause a lot of turnovers and stuff like that. I don't think they caused that many turnovers this year for the Chiefs, but if you play smash mouth football against the Chiefs, you can typically knock them over. And we saw that in week 1 to start the season when they went up against the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions caught them slipping.
Yeah.
Caught them sleeping week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of the Lions, let me know what you thought of that Lions 49ers game.
They let them off the hook. God damn.
Oh man.
Bro.
Like Mike Singletary. We let them off the hook.
We let them off the hook, man. Look, these guys, I thought they was gonna win that shit. I actually thought they was gonna win. I had picked the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl. I had picked them to go. I think I did. But it was Ravens and 49ers.
Yeah,
I think I picked
the Lions and Ravens.
Yeah. But I was blown away, man, because these guys got this damn lead, man. They got this lead, and they was playing some damn good ball in that first half, man.
Yeah, they were.
They were playing some good ball. And shit turned around. You got a coach that he will gamble. He's the Kenny Rogers, I think, of the NFL. I got a meme of him.
Yeah, you sent me.
Got a meme of him. He's fucking Kenny Rogers.
You sent me that right after the game. I was like, man, he really shot himself in the foot. He really did.
Yeah, man. Passing up on those field goals. This is the fucking championship game to go to the Super Bowl. Okay, now during the regular season, of course, I can understand you. You putting it on the line. You trying to win a game.
Absolutely.
But this is a big game, man. You one game away from the damn Super Bowl. You take the points. Take the points. Quit being cocky. And that cockiness cost them a lot too, man.
Yeah.
And then they allowed the 49ers to get back in the game. And once they got back in the game, I saw it coming. I saw that shit coming. I said, here we go.
And not to mention that you had the fact that, like you said, like if I would have missed that, I'd had no problem with him going for it the first time. Mm-hmm. The second time, I would have been like, all right, look, we're just going to go ahead and take the safe points. You know what I'm saying? Even though they probably wouldn't have been having the lead, it probably would have been tied up, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, they would have. I think they would have had a chance. To come back and tie the game up.
It makes me think about how aggressive certain other coaches have been in the past, kind of like Sean Payton, Ron Rivera. Obviously, both of those coaches have been to the Super Bowl with their aggressive play style, but in this case, it didn't work out for him. And sometimes you can either be the hero or you can be the villain. And in this case, he looked like the villain of his own franchise. They could have just took the points, like you said, and would have had a comfortable or at least a small lead if they would have took the points.
I'm taking the points,
but I understand.
Man. Yeah, I'm taking the points in a situation like this, a game of that magnitude, man. You trying to get every fucking point you can get because it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference within the game. And he decided not to. So, you know, I saw a little bit of the press conference and shit after, which I thought was kind of fucked up to me.
I didn't catch it. Fill us in what happened.
I saw a little bit of it where he was saying about how hard it is to get there. Yeah, we know how hard it is to get to that point, man, trying to get to the Super Bowl and all. And he was talking in a sense as if, hell, they might not get back there. You know, that kind of shit, you don't want to say no shit like that. These guys are hurt already. You know, you done lost the damn game. And then for you to go in the press conference and say some of the things that you said, and I caught a little bit of it. I didn't even want to hear that shit. I was too busy making a fucking meme. Kenny Rogers. He's a Kenny Rogers of the NFL. Now, don't get me wrong. I think he's a good coach, though. But he gambles a little bit too much. He gambled when he shouldn't have been gambling in a game of that magnitude because he shouldn't have. He should have took the points. I always said that after that game was over, and I looking at the highlights and all that shit, man. I'm like, man, why didn't you take the fucking points? You should have took the points, man. And look, if he even missed the damn field goal, at least I was trying to do the right thing, to get us some points on the board. And
yeah, I mean, at that point, you put your team in the best position to win.
Yeah.
To score points, and that's what it's all about. You can talk about with all the X's and O's, the schemes, the strategies, and all that shit. At the end of the day, you got to fucking score more than the other team. It's just that simple. If you can't get in the end zone or get the ball through the fucking uprights, I mean, you're going to lose the game. I mean, it's just that simple. It's not that hard.
Yeah. So, you know, the big thing is, too, is how in the fuck did they let them come back?
Now, I will say this. Deebo Samuel, there was a lot going into that game that, you know, a big mystery that nobody thought. A lot of people was thinking that he wasn't going to play. And I was one of them, you know, and I didn't think Deebo Samuel was going to play. And if he did play, I thought he was going to be more of a decoy. He was far from the case. Far from the case. He had an impact on that game big time, especially in that second half.
Yeah.
I think he had like over 100 yards, or at least over 100 total all-purpose yards in that game. So he had his big impact in that game. And Christian McCaffrey.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey did his thing as well.
Yeah.
When you got both of them going, they are hard to stop, particularly in the run game. If you got both of them running, and making Brock Purdy's jobs just easy. You know what I'm saying?
And you got to say Purdy, the way he played too, because he ran the damn football, man. He ran like he wanted to win the damn game. I mean, you can see that shit. We trying to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, he took some chances, man. He ran that football, man. He ran that shit hard. And you know, they are there.
I mean, you can't fault it. I mean, you see that both sides look like they really want it. We could talk trash and make fun of Dan Campbell all we want, and he deserves it because they lost. Yeah. But you could tell he really wanted to win for Detroit.
He did.
You can see it in his eyes in that press conference from the playback that I got a chance. I did see a little snippets of people memeing him saying how he was crying and shit like that. But look, at the end of the day, a lot of these players don't get that chance to come back. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Dan Marino. Dan Marino got one shot early in his career. He never came back. You know, so it's not a given. It's not a given.
And Dan was a hard throwing motherfucking quarterback too, man. He was knocking dust out of gloves when he used to throw football. They say ask Clayton and Duper, man. He used to swing that ball, man.
Speaking of players crying, let me ask that question to you. Do you have I saw some people making fun of some of the players. People was making fun of Lamar Jackson because he was crying on the sideline on the bench. And had Odell Beckham went over to console him. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about players losing their emotions during and after a game?
Man, when you're trying to win, man, you're trying to get to where they're trying to get to, especially a Super Bowl, because they was on that straight and narrow path of getting to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna get emotional. Shit. You're gonna get emotional, man, because you know how hard it is to try to get back to that point. You work during the off season, doing training camp and all that, man, trying to, get the teams together and trying to get back to that point. But, sometimes things can get in the way from you, prevent you from getting there. And before you know it, it'd be years and years done went by and you still hadn't made it. So I kind of understand a guy, my coach from Detroit too, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, I can feel him on that, man, because man, people was expecting it. He was expecting to get there.
Yeah.
And that shit hurts. I mean, I know it hurts. Hell, I hurt when I was playing football in junior high and whatever. We lose a game, shit, I'll get upset too. But because hey, I don't like losing. Shit, I don't. But you got to be able to accept losses too. So, but that's a hard loss to accept, man, because man, you were so close. You were so close. It was close, and I hate it for him and the team. Everybody. I done heard so many different opinions about that shit too. About about him crying, but his quarterback situations. Now since he didn't win and all that. But I wish nothing but the best for Lamar. Hopefully one day, man, he will get there. But I was kind of pissed, man. Because I was like, damn, I wanted to see him go, but man, on the other hand, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, man.
You had the back-to-back MVPs going at it.
Yeah.
In the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know what? I feel like that's not stressed enough, I feel like the matchup was way bigger than they alluded to in the media, too. I mean, I feel like the build-up for that game should have been way bigger.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Ravens, you know what I'm saying? You got the current MVP in Lamar Jackson going up against, well, the soon-to-be MVP, Lamar Jackson, and the reigning MVP in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That is a big, big matchup, man. You don't see that often.
Yeah.
Two big name quarterbacks meeting in the AFC Championship game or even in the Super Bowl, like that's a major deal. Yeah. So you arguably two top five quarterbacks. In my opinion, I think Patrick Mahomes is the number one quarterback in the league. Yeah. Hands down. I think he's proven that.
And I know Baltimore, you go back and look at this game, man, they beat themselves.
They did. And I wanted to get to that next. They had a lot of bad penalties in that game.
A lot of
them. And I know a lot of Baltimore fans would probably be like, oh, well, the refs fucked us over. Nah, y'all screwed yourself in some of them cases.
Yeah.
Some of them was kind of obvious and blatant.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the penalty calls?
Man,
do you think it was great?
Man, it was on them. It was on them. I mean, it's plain as day. It was on them.
Yeah.
It was on them. You can't fault nobody but yourself. I know referees are not going to catch everything. They're not going to see everything, man.
I know they can be blind sometimes.
You guys had had all the, the previous players, man. Ray Lewis there, and then when T. Sizzle came out.
Oh, man, yeah.
It kind of changed a little bit. It changed a little bit.
I mean, we can't talk about referees and being blind without talking about the infamous Saints versus Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett Favre got his ass. Fucker, man.
Well, I'm talking about no, not the Vikings. I'm sorry. The Rams. Saints Rams.
Yeah.
Saints Rams, a no call.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sent the Rams to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That was some bullshit, man. Because
we still ain't over that one.
You sure that was the Rams game or was it which game that was where the receiver went going up for the ball and it hit him. I think they hit him early. I thought that was Minnesota.
Nope.
It wasn't.
Minnesota was the Minnesota Miracle against us.
Okay.
When Stephon Diggs caught the pass, I forget which Saints cornerback that was, but he pretty much jumped up in the heavens and pulled it down. Because remember, we had two big major matchups. We had the 1 year when we beat up on Brett Favre, and that was Bounty Gate year.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
That's when we won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
Brett Favre was black and blue after that game.
Yeah.
He probably was looking purple after that game. But we got penalized a couple years after that and lost a first round pick, and then our coach got Sean Payton got fined. No, he missed the whole entire season. And then a couple of years later, then we had the Minnesota Miracle where they in the playoffs, I think it was the divisional round where they beat us. Stephon Diggs jumped out of nowhere, brought it to the house, I think for like damn near 50 yards or something like that. Yeah. And then a few years back, when the Rams went to the Super Bowl and won, that was the year we was projected to win us.
Yeah.
That was like one of the last few good years of Drew Brees. His arm was starting to go.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was James Hardy. I can't remember the receiver we had. He pretty much got clobbered right in front of the referee. In front of the referee. I think it was Robertson, cornerback Robertson for the Rams. I can't remember his name, but he pretty much mugged him. And then in a press conference, he was like, "Oh yeah, I thought he was gonna call it.
Yeah,
they ain't call shit." And then the game went to overtime because we was driving after we had a major turnover. We was driving down the field, and we was about to score, and that ended up putting us right out of field goal range or something like that. And the game went to overtime, and then the Saints kind of shit the bed in the overtime, and the Rams came back and won.
Yeah.
And then the Rams went on to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl that year.
Let me ask you this too before you go on. Man, whatever happened to Greg Williams?
Greg Williams, he was still around, I believe. I think he was still defensive coordinator for some teams.
Okay.
I don't know if he's still in the NFL now.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard much about him, but he did bounce around to a couple of defensive coordinator jobs for a little while. Mm-hmm. He was also suspended for an entire, I think, 2 years. So Sean Payton was suspended for a year. I think he was suspended for 2 years. He came back, was a defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, I think, for one of those teams in there. He bounced around a couple of teams after the Saints.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if he's still in the league now. I had to look it up.
Yeah.
But if y'all watching in the comment section, let us know in the comment section what happened with Greg Williams. I mean, we try to erase his ass from the Saints history books. There's a lot of talk about who pretty much ratted the Saints out, because there was a big conspiracy about that. Because at first, some people thought it was Kyle Turley. Yeah. Some people thought it was Greg Williams, which it makes sense to me. Why would he, rat himself out? Some people thought it was some disgruntled defensive players that might have got cut that season. Who knows? I don't know, because it was a lot going on. The Saints had a lot of bullshit going on behind the scenes too. They had a lot of turmoil. The organization itself has always had a lot of issues. But as a Saints fan, I mean, it's been hard to be a Saints fan over the years, over the decades, man. You went from the 90s of being irrelevant, wearing bags on their heads.
Yeah, I remember
the early 2000s, you had Ricky Williams and Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
I think the late 90s going into 2000s, you had Ricky Williams wearing a fucking dress.
Yeah, I remember that shit was on the front cover of the magazine. I think, was it Sports Illustrated or some shit?
Sports Illustrated. You had Mike Ditka in a tuxedo, and you had Ricky Williams in a wedding dress.
Yeah.
After Mike Ditka had famously traded away the entire fucking draft.
Yeah.
And then picks in the front, and then a couple of more picks in the future draft after that, just to draft Ricky Williams, who ended up not even being that great of a running back for the Saints. He ended up being a really good running back for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
After we traded him away, and we didn't even get nowhere near as close to what we, what it took to get him.
Yeah.
But I mean, then you had the Drew Brees era that came in with Sean Payton right before that. You had Jim Haslett and Aaron Brooks, which was also a shitty time too.
Yeah.
But you had about 15 years of really good years up and down. Because people forget, Sean Payton didn't always have a winning record in New Orleans either. He had a lot of mediocre years. He had a lot of 7 and 9, 8 and 8 years in there too.
Yeah.
And then now you have now we have the current coach that we got now, and Dennis Allen, who is a great defensive coordinator, but he just don't seem like he is a leader of men. To say this. I mean, look at that fucking press conference. We talked about it last week. The last time we got on here, when he was all apologetic to the fucking Falcons. Now I understand where you were coming from, and you were right. They were kind of wrong in how they were kind of deceiving the other team. But at the other end of the spectrum, it's the Falcons. As a Saints fan, it's like fuck the Falcons. We don't give a fuck about.
So that shit was personal.
Any other team, you know what? It would have been like, we'll show the respect. But it's the Falcons. Fuck the Falcons.
Yeah.
They can take it any kind of way we can give it to them. Pause. But that's just the way it was. That's why I didn't have no problem with it. But at the same time, you had Dennis Allen get up there on the press conference and pretty much was, begging for forgiveness to the Atlanta Falcons of all people. Like, come on, man, stop that shit.
He should have not even said shit. I'd have been like, next question if they'd asked me about that shit. I wouldn't even
either next question or say, you know what? That's the point where you either protect your players or you say next question.
Yeah.
Period.
I wouldn't even answer that shit. I wouldn't responded to it. Hey, next question. Now, I saw where with the Commanders, they picked up Dan Quinn.
Yeah. I saw that they fired Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
I feel bad for
Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy, man. He left Kansas City to go prove himself.
Yeah.
And he only got 1 year to do it. And in my opinion, he should have known better.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because looking at the offense and the players and the personnel that they had in Washington, it was a long shot.
Yeah. A
long shot of a chance to make that situation work. Like, they didn't have a lot of good players on offense at all. Now, Sam Howell did lead the league in passing yards, but he also led the league in interceptions. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to really gauge if his offensive system really worked. I would say he deserves a chance. He's from New Orleans. I would say, and the Saints need an offensive coordinator right now. Mm-hmm. But everything is looking like the Saints are going to be leading to hiring the passing coordinator, not the passing game coordinator from the 49ers. His name is escaping me right now, but he used to be the offensive coordinator in Minnesota when Mike Zimmer was the head coach back 3 years ago. So I'm if that's the guy, I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't gonna be very impressed. But
what you think about Dan Quinn though, going there being the head coach, Quinn? Man? What you think about that?
I'm not a fan of Dan Quinn either. I think Dan Quinn has gotten chance after chance after chance. He used to coach the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, he was. He was coaching it. Remember, he was coaching the Falcons in the Super Bowl that year against the New England Patriots and blew that lead. They blew that lead, and Patriots came back and won. And then, this year, you allowed the fucking Packers come in there and put up points like they did on the Cowboys. He got, you look at all that shit, but oh well. I mean, some people get better privileges than others. So
you ain't lying about that. I would say he's not a terrible coach, but obviously you got to be somewhat good to get your team to a Super Bowl. But the team did kind of crumble after they lost that Super Bowl. They just weren't the same after they lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lose-lose situation in Washington. They need a lot. They need an overhaul of a lot of things in Washington. They don't have a lot of talent from top to bottom.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah.
They need to draft very good this offseason, for them to have a chance to even think about what Dan Quinn's going to do over there. So I'm holding my reserve until I see what they draft over there. They need a quarterback. I don't think Sam Howell's the option. And if he is the option, you got to put some weapons around him. He can throw the ball. He can sling it. Now, his decision-making is another thing. It's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing. I'm not sure if he can actually succeed over there in Washington. They need players. They don't have no running. They had absolutely no running game at all this season.
Yeah.
Zero. So, and they threw the ball damn near 40 times, almost 40 times a game. So, I mean, if you got to throw the ball that much, you're probably not going to win many games.
Yeah. Now, what about the Falcons, man? Because I see the Falcons got a new coach.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that their old coach that just got fired. He got picked up as a coordinator from somewhere.
Yeah.
I forgot where he landed. But Atlanta, we'll see.
Now, I've been seeing the rumors about Russell Wilson too. Now, there's been talks about that, about Russell Wilson possibly could be going to the Falcons.
I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I've read that shit. Yeah, I
don't see him going to Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't think so neither.
It would make sense because his wife has ties, so I can see the influence of him going there based off of that.
Yeah,
but other than that, I don't see him making sense for him to go to Atlanta.
Yeah,
I told you where I think it makes sense. I think it would make more sense for him to go to Minnesota if Minnesota loses Kirk Cousins. They have some weapons over there for Russ to work with. You got Justin Jefferson over there. You got what's their running back over there? Dalvin Cook?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook's gone.
He's gone. He's gone.
Where? I forgot. I'm blanking on that running back.
Yeah. Cook is gone. We had him at one point.
They have a decent offense over there in Minnesota. Their issue is defense.
Yeah.
Their issue is defense. So I think he can work out in Minnesota if things align up for him. So I would like to see him in Minnesota. I think there was some talk of him even saying, still possibly staying in Denver because let's be for real, Denver's struck. They are stuck.
Yeah.
If he does not restructure his contract, they got a lot of dead money coming their way. And Sean Payton is being a dickhead. He's really trying to flex his muscles over there, but he ain't really. He's thinking that he has the same kind of flexibility that he had in New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
And it ain't working like that.
Yeah.
It ain't working like that. You can't try to strong arm people that you don't have that long of working relations with. And they signed Russell to a big, stupid long contract that kicks in this offseason. It ain't kick in yet.
Yeah.
So you got to be smart. Look, if you want things to be smooth, you got to smooth things over with certain players. Now, I do think if Russ was a team player to a degree, I would never tell an NFL player to take a pay cut, especially how short of a span it is to be an NFL player.
One play can change
One
everything.
play and it's over.
Yeah.
So I understand why Russ did not want to give up his position, because on top of that, Sean Payton came in that motherfucker and he didn't really embrace Russ at all.
No.
So and in Russell's position, I'm with him on this one. Fuck him. Fuck you. You want me to take my money away, and then you want to try to say, hell, if you don't do this, you gonna sit your ass on the bench? Fuck you.
Yeah, that shit fucked up, man. It's fucked up. For real. Yeah.
But what do you think about the two head coaches that didn't get jobs this season? All the head coaching jobs are filled up now. You saw John Harbaugh going to the Chargers, but Bill Belichick.
You mean Jim? You mean Jim?
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we saw two coaches that didn't get picked up, and Mike Vrabel from the Tennessee Titans, who got fired, and Bill Belichick, who parted ways with the Patriots. How did you feel about those two coaches not getting a job versus everybody else?
Well, I guess I don't know with Belichick, man. Honestly, you 72 years old, man. And then I think Bill want too much power.
Oh yeah,
he wants too much power. Wherever he went, he's gonna want total control of everything. And nobody's not gonna give him that, and especially at his age, man. I think it's time for him to just go hang him up. You know,
pretty much.
Yeah. Verbal. Hey, he got a year off. He maybe get a year off, and maybe somebody will give him a chance. And if not, maybe he could become a coordinator somewhere eventually.
I ain't gonna lie. I was more surprised that he didn't get a job.
Yeah.
You know,
they gave him the time off. Yeah. He should. Honestly, I would have got Vrabel before I got Quinn.
Exactly. Exactly. When you mentioned Quinn, I was like, wait a minute. Like, Mike Vrabel deserved a job before him.
Yeah.
I mean, he had more recent success. Now, obviously, Vrabel didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But Vrabel has done a great job in Tennessee. I feel like the GM in Tennessee kind of halted them a little bit. They didn't get the full capability that they deserved over there. Yeah. And then, you know, he had a fucking rookie quarterback to finish most of the year. Mm-hmm. Like, how you fire a guy who had to deal with a rookie quarterback?
Yeah.
Who was unproven.
That shit was coming, man. They had their mind made up what they wanted to do with Vrabel, though. I think so.
Yeah, I think that was more internal.
Yeah. So I know Derrick Henry is what he's out of there now, right?
Most likely, yeah. The signs are that he's not going to return.
Yeah. So I know I've been hearing all this chatter about the Cowboys. You know, Jerry to go get him. Want him to come to Dallas.
I mean, I just don't see them going and get him because they weren't willing to pay the money for your boy that left and went to New England.
Zeke.
And not even though Zeke definitely regressed majorly. Mm-hmm. But I think New England was just not the right fit for him anyway. Yeah. I think he didn't have many options to go to.
Yeah, he had to take what you could get.
Yeah. New England is notorious for not being a run-first team at all. And they should have been. With the fucking quarterback that they had, they should have been a run-first team.
Yeah, they should have.
That also kind of speaks to how out of touch I think Bill Belichick is with the new NFL. But you should have been trying to feed Zeke as much as you could. But I'm not certain of how good that offensive line that they had out there in New England. But as far as for Derrick Henry, though, I can see. What about New York? What about the Jets? What about for y'all?
They're not gonna do that. I don't think they'll do that. They don't want to get no fucking body. They don't want to win, man.
You don't think so?
Man, you know, with
I know Jets, you got a lot of drama with Aaron Rodgers already.
You got enough of that, man. And they need to be working on the fucking offensive line. They better make sure that offensive line is up to par, man, or it might be short-lived again.
Oh, shit.
And, you know, we've always had that defense. Defense has been doing their thing, but once the offense, I've said it before, once the offense don't do their job and help produce, man, it puts a strain on the defense. And, you know, and it shows. I just wish our organization would get better, you know, as a whole to try to put that team together to win, man. I'm tired of not winning, you know, not winning. So with the head coach, Saleh, it's going to be interesting this year, man, because they fuck around and don't win or don't make the playoff. they might be starting to look at other alternatives, in my opinion.
I mean, you might be looking at Mike Vrabel being your next coach later down the line.
They got to do something, man. I mean, these damn, you going year after year getting quarterbacks in you, and then your system ain't worth a fuck. As far as getting these quarterbacks prepared. And, a lot of them, just like, man, Zach Wilson, And then, remember we had Sam Darnold.
Yep.
There was a lot of hype about Sam Darnold, and I think we had
that one year season.
Yeah, we actually had that other dickhead of a coach, what his name, Adam Gase, that came from Miami. Didn't do shit there, and you gonna go hire this motherfucker and bring him in, and he all buck-eyed and shit, looking on. I mean, just look crazy, man, and didn't do nothing.
Who would you rather have if you had no other choice but these two, Adam Gase or Robert Saleh?
I'm gonna continue to roll with Saleh because I'm not Adam Gase. Shit, no, man. Bubba Dub say trash.
Yeah.
Trash. It's trash.
I tell you what, my only issue I had with Saleh this season, obviously I didn't get a chance to catch a lot of the Jets games, but
Saleh's a more defensive minded coach, man.
My issue I had with him though was the fact that he couldn't make up his mind on quarterback.
Yeah.
That was my issue. I didn't like the musical chairs of going back and forth. Make a decision.
I think a lot of that shit might have came from up top.
Maybe so, but I'd rather be the coach that says, you know what, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
You hired me to be the coach. I'm going to be the coach.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my decision, and that's what it is. Yeah. And if you don't like it, then fire me. You have to stand up to the management sometimes and say, hey, look, you hired me to do a job. Let me do that job, or get rid of me and get somebody else.
Get somebody else in there. And I totally agree with that. But I think a lot of that shit came from up top, though. They feel like, they put money like that in a quarterback. And that's who they want. That's who they want on the damn field. But hey, if he ain't doing shit, I mean, he had those games where he'll start looking a little bit better and start kind of looking, I'm not gonna say promising, but it was some games where he looked it good for a little while, and then you had those games like, oh shit, here we go.
Come on, Wilson is out or Saleh?
Wilson.
Yeah.
God, man, I'm talking about, man.
But I mean, look, we go back to 2022 season, right? I mean, when he had that famous press conference, when they asked him about being accountable for one of them losses that they had, he pretty much wouldn't accept it.
Yeah, that was. We had a conversation about that too on one of my sports shows that you guys was on. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even, I said about that press conference too, I would have just not even said nothing. I'd have told him the next question, man. I wouldn't even answer. But him supposed to be the leader, especially on the offensive side of the ball, you quarterback. You should have been taking accountability. You should have been, hey, I messed up. I got to get better as a quarterback. I got to do what I need to do to make myself better and put my team in a better position to try to win football game. That's
Absolutely.
what he should have done. He didn't do that. So, yeah, everybody in the locker room they looking at him, oh, no, this ain't the motherfucker I want around. But, but it's not their control. It's the big people upstairs that's controlling everything, and you got to roll with what the fuck they got going on. Or if you don't like it, that's pretty much go hit the door. So it is what it is.
Well, let's get to it, man. We got to get to the big question of this episode. Mm-hmm. The big matchup, the Super Bowl that's coming up.
Right.
We got the Chiefs and the 49ers. First, before we even get to who we gonna pick in this game, first off, let's look at the totals, the points, and everything else. The 49ers are a 2-point favorite in this game. The over-under is 47.5. First up, we got the Chiefs. Excuse me, not the Chiefs. The 49ers are ranked the number 1 ranked offense and the number 2 ranked defense. While you have the Chiefs as the number 12th ranked offense and the 12th ranked offense and 23rd ranked defense, going based off statistics in the regular season. So how do you feel about these matchups on paper? You know, you got a lot of big names in this game. You got Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. You know, this is the perfect matchup when you talk about stars. You know what I'm saying? So they got the stars attached to this game. You got a potential star in Brock Purdy. I feel like the media wants him to be a star. Especially if they win this game, he will become one.
They do. But 49ers, like with that Lions game, man, that defense allowed too many damn points, man.
Yeah.
So you better not do that Super Bowl Sunday.
I will say you can definitely put up points on this 49ers team. That is a fact. That secondary is not as solid. That's probably the weakest point of the defense.
Yeah.
That secondary in San Francisco.
Well, they better tighten their ass up come Super Bowl Sunday, or they're going to be just like the Detroit Lions. They're going to be just like them. And you already know who my pick is. So you can go on to the next question. We'll get to that. But I told you I'm not betting. I'm not betting against. I'm sorry. You got to prove me wrong. I'm not betting against it. You got to prove me wrong.
You got the Chiefs?
I got the Chiefs in this, man.
You got the Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs.
Look, if anybody has been following along with our podcast, they know. And I give you an even better point before I even get to it. EJ called me right after the Chiefs against the Ravens. Mm-hmm. Now, I told you I didn't get a chance to watch the game in real time, right? Because I was out celebrating the birthday of a family member. And he called me, and I was sitting down. We was all having dinner. And I was so mad because we were sitting down at a restaurant that didn't have no fucking TVs.
Fuck you was at, man? Damn, where you was at?
We was at. Are you familiar with Larry Morrow?
No, I'm not.
He is a famous restaurateur.
Okay.
Black entrepreneur down here in New Orleans. He has a couple of big name restaurants. Yeah. He has his new restaurant called Song Child. This ain't no advertisement for him, but it was a nice ass restaurant.
Okay.
And he's half black, half Asian, and he has infused a Southern culture with Asian culture food.
Yeah.
And it's really good. I ain't gonna lie. It's a little overpriced.
Well, he probably don't want the distraction with TVs, and he want people to be focused on the meal and.
Yeah, I can't lie. The atmosphere in the place is nice. It's fire.
Well,
it's fire. I can't even lie. Yeah. But it had my fucking wallet on fire. Oh.
You paid for that. Yeah.
But so EJ hit me up and he was like, "Man, look, I just got to tell you, I was wrong. I can't keep hating on Patrick Mahomes." I was like, EJ, I'm surprised to hear you say this, because EJ has been a big Kansas City hater. All right, he has been a big fan of. I ain't gonna say a big fan, but he has been. His number 2 team is the Ravens. Yeah, I don't think he's ever shied away from that part.
And I think he had hit me up too.
And he was like, "Man, look, I was wrong, Patrick Mahomes." Mm-hmm. And then, they legit. And I was like, fuck, I ain't even pick him this year. You know what I'm saying? For the first time, I didn't pick him in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But it's hard to bet against them, man. They got that dynasty, and Andy Reid has a proven system.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. You can look at statistic paperwork all you want, man. I'm telling you, a team like with Patrick Mahomes, it's hard, man. Like I said before, I left the door open when I decided who was gonna win that game between them and Baltimore. I wanted Baltimore to win.
Me too.
I wanted to see Lamar win.
Me too. I did.
That it was just that, man. You is fucking crazy, man. Patrick Mahomes gonna win that game, man. And it was just in my head. He was gonna end up winning, and he did. But 49ers secondary better tighten up, man. They better get that defense together, because I'm telling you, they allow this guy to get points, score multiple points, put multiple points on the board. It might not be no comeback. They came back on Detroit, but it might not be no comeback now.
Well, Super Bowl is always big for prop bets. Who you think will be the first person? Well, who do you think will be the first person to score?
For
in the game in general.
In the game in general, I think I'm gonna go with probably passing. I think Travis Kelce's gonna probably be the first one to score.
Mahomes and Kelce?
Mm-hmm.
First touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first score is a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs on that one as well. I think the Chiefs strike first. But I'm thinking a little bit outside the box. I'm gonna say this guy here, who nobody gives the credit to, and he's a workhorse.
I know.
I'm gonna say Pacheco. I think Pacheco gets the first
touchdown. And I thought about that too, because that guy runs. I've never seen nobody run. He runs with so much authority, man. This guy runs like a damn madman. If you get in his way, he's smashing you. He don't care for damn who you are. And I
heard people say that. I seen people say that he run like he stole something.
Yeah, I can believe it. I can believe it. Shit, I can.
He got them happy feet.
I can believe it. Now I'm gonna ask you something else too, man, because I've heard so many people.
What's up?
Say, talking about this, about the NFL in general, overall, about, do you think these games are rigged? I've heard that a lot.
Man, all right. So this has been a big question throughout sports for the past 100 years, whether it's American sports, other countries, other leagues, whether it's the NBA, NHL, MLB, major soccer leagues. I do believe, to a certain degree, there is a certain element that's behind the scenes controlling things to a certain degree. I do believe that, yes. Does it take away the entertainment factor sometimes? Sometimes, particularly if your favorite team is on the losing end. Like, you can't tell me that there was something fishy going on with the Lakers and Blazers back in the day, back in the 2000s. Right? You can't tell me there was something fishy going on between the Lakers and the Kings from back in the day.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that there wasn't something fishy going on with that Saints and Rams game. There has been a lot of things that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
That just don't make sense when it comes in the sports world. Now, you also have now that a lot of these leagues now have embraced betting culture. Right. And you also have, and this is a good topic that you brought up, betting culture in the NFL, not only in the NFL, just in sports in general. We just recently had a college player from LSU just got arrested for betting on games when he was in college. So I want to say the Calvin Ridley missed the entire season for betting on games. So do I think it happens? Fucking right. Tim Donaghy went to jail for his role, allegedly as a rogue referee.
I remember.
Okay, sure. You want me to believe that he is a rogue, one only type of person that was involved? Sure. That's what you want me to believe? Okay. You know, there's a lot of money involved, and a lot of these different storylines has become very. And I'm glad you sent me that message that you sent me earlier in the day, that wrestling meme.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has, a lot of pro sports have turned into pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And they borrow from pro wrestling because of the fact that pro wrestling is major entertainment. And it's the reason why they've been able to stay relevant for so long is because they know how to work the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's all about, is it entertaining?
Right.
And I've always heard this one quote that has always made me laugh. And it's from a wrestler. And this guy was like, look, it doesn't matter if it's the truth or if it's the lie. I never let the truth get in the way of a good lie.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so true, man, because like a lot of times the lie is way more funnier, it's more engaging than the truth.
Yeah.
And who that what's his name? Conan, WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Who is a great
I remember
that dude is so underrated when it comes to the entertainment mind.
Mm-hmm.
He gets it. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to get people engaged. And that's said in truth in the NFL to this day. NBA as well. The NBA, you see it in the NBA. They changed the rules to make it more engaging. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have so many more free throw foul calls towards the end of the game versus in the middle of the game or in the beginning of the game. They kind of make it more dramatic. They want the game to linger just a little bit longer towards the end to work the crowd. In wrestling, they will intentionally piss the crowd off because they know it will get the crowd hot. It'll get them talking, and they want to see blood. They'll be ready to whoop somebody's ass. The crowd will be ready to whoop the fucking referee's ass.
Yeah.
Before they're ready to. Now, they just doing the job, but we don't know who's behind them calling the shots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, it's all about working the crowd and seeing what is more engaging. Just because the Chiefs winning every time, it might be the more engaging thing because they have a bigger fan base in 2024 versus in 2014.
Yeah.
Same thing goes when the Cowboys was winning back in the 90s. The Cowboys was the hot team. It was the Cowboys, Packers, and 49ers in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that's why you saw them three always battling it out in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. And
they also had free agency was kind of brand new. You saw Deion Sanders both on the 49ers and the Cowboys.
Yeah. And I liked the 49ers when I was growing up, when I was younger, because I was a Jerry Rice fanatic.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play wide receiver, man, and that was pretty much my idol. I idolized the man. But Super Bowl Sunday. 49ers, if they don't beat themselves, it's a possibility they could, because as I said before, man, you can have a bad game.
Oh, yeah.
You can have a bad game.
Yeah.
And the shit was looking so promising for Baltimore, but they had a bad game. They made some mistakes. They shot themselves in the foot and knocked them out from getting there. So at the end of the day, you can have a bad game, but it's still, as I said, it's hard for me to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to bet against him. Now, if it was anybody else in the Super Bowl, I probably would go with the 49ers. But it's going to be hard. It's hard for me to bet against Mahomes, man. Mahomes is the new Tom Brady.
He is. He really is. He's this new era version of it.
Yeah. He's the new Tom.
Well, let me ask you that same question. How do you feel? Do you think games are fixed?
Man, I was wondering, man, because if you could look at some plays during these games, man, especially these big games, that's just like I was thinking back on Lamar Jackson, and it's just me, just random thinking. You had an opportunity to hit a receiver, so going across the middle, wide open, to possibly get that first down, but you decided to throw downfield. And it's defenders down there like a motherfucker. You got one receiver, you got 3 defenders down there. You just threw it down there. You make bad decisions, which was really a bad decision, but I was wondering, goddamn, was that on purpose?
Yeah, some of that shit make you scratch your head.
Just a thought. Because, that's what made me ask you about, do you think some of these games are rigged? Because you can look at some of the plays, man. You be like, why in the fuck he do that? He didn't even have to do that. I mean, come on, you got common sense. Why'd you do that? Now, bad decision. Yeah, we make bad decisions, but come on now.
I've seen one play on social media that's getting a lot of rounds. Is I think it was the Ravens and Steelers. And I could be wrong, but it looked like it was Lamar Jackson was scrambling out of the pocket to the right, and a defender, like a defensive cornerback, was coming in hot, and he had a blocker ahead of him, and the blocker was to the far right, and Lamar was cutting to the right, but he was starting to cut inside, and the defender went straight for the blocker instead of Lamar Jackson. And I'm like, why did he run straight directly? He crashed right into him instead of going straight for the runner.
Yeah.
Now, I get it. Sometimes you feel, I played football when I was in middle school and high school. Yeah. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to kind of have good field awareness sometimes what's going on because a lot of shit's going on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But, we talking about pro athletes here. Like, the top of the top, the best of the best. It's kind of, looking at that one shot, it's kind of hard. If I can find that shit, I'll put it up there on the main page. But
it makes you wonder, man. It makes you wonder, man. Just thinking, man. Some of these games, some of these plays, you be like, man, you got to be fucking kidding me. And my dad, man, my dad say that shit all the time, man. He said, man, some of them games rigged. They rigged the hell out those games. That's what he's thinking. He said, man, that shit make you don't even want to watch it because shit rigged. So, I thought about that. I wanted to ask you that what your thoughts were on these games, the NFL as a whole, as far as games being rigged. That was my question to you. But I saw, I read about the XFL and the USFL. They merged. Yeah, they merged. Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting to see.
The USFL had some nice publicity behind it their first season.
Mm-hmm.
The XFL not as much. They had an okay season. It made sense for the XFL to merge with them.
Yeah.
And I believe The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is involved with the XFL now.
Yeah, him and I think was his ex-wife and Danny Garcia. I think they
$7 production.
Yeah. So
so it's interesting. Are they keeping the XFL name or are they keeping the USFL name?
I saw the photo of it. I'm thinking it's, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I saw it this morning. I'm trying. I can't remember. It was one or the other, but I saw it. I just can't remember which one it was though.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look it up and we'll add it to the video.
Yeah.
But let's ask the rest of the listeners though. For y'all, what do y'all think? Do y'all think professional sports, the NFL and NBA in particular, are rigged? in 2024. I mean, they pretty much married themselves to Las Vegas and betting. What do y'all think? Y'all think there's some shady shit going on behind the scenes? I do think certain narratives are definitely pushed. Yeah. I don't know about the full outcome, but definitely the narratives is out there. But let us think in the comment section below. Do y'all think the NFL and NBA is rigged? That's a good question. That's a good question. But finally, I think we don't even need to say the rest on that. We both calling the Chiefs to win this Super Bowl against the 49ers.
Yep. Y'all see what I got on, don't you? Y'all see what I got on? I got my throwback.
You got the motherfucking pot. Hey, the original.
The original.
I like that shit, man. Look, we gotta try to get that shit back, man. Cause funny story, the reason why we stopped with that particular hat is that we had a hookup with somebody who was able to do those hats for us for the low. And then they ended up, not working in that place anymore for us. So we lost that connect.
Yeah.
And then we just like, you know what? We're gonna just try to switch it up and change the logo and everything else. Which, don't get me wrong, I like the new the hashtag logo, but I still like the original, man. That shit hard.
I should have had y'all guys to sign the bill of this motherfucker, man. when you send it to me.
I will tell you, we have maybe 3 or 4 of those actual hats left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know I got one. EJ has one. You have one. I think what's your boy's name that used to be on Bet the House?
Oh shit.
I
can't think, man.
I hung out with him one time. He came down to the city. He showed love. My apologies, I forgot his name. Fuck. I'm blanking on his name. But he has a hat. I think one of our other original co-hosts had a hat too. So that maybe makes about 5 hats still left. So yeah. And then we sold a couple of those too. So if y'all have the original hat, let us know, man, because we, take a picture and we'll put your picture up on the main page, man.
Yeah, I think I did an advertisement. Yeah, I did an advertisement on my Instagram page, man, with this hat.
That's a classic, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But look, that's all the time we got for this one, man. Jock, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can check me out on Instagram. Follow me at The Real Jock Johnson. Also, check me out on the YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, Jock Johnson Podcast, LLC. Check me out. Got a new episode. Well, I'm working on a new episode that'll be coming up next weekend, Super Bowl weekend. Got my cousin coming back through. My man Victor Hayes, credit repair guy, man. He is dope. He is dope with the credit. And also, my other special guest, my son, my oldest son, he will be on the show for the first time, man. He's excited about it. And
like my dad
too. Yeah. So like father, like son. So, we had a little conversation a while back about podcasting, man, because he was, want to follow in the footsteps of his father. So hopefully in the near future, man, we'll get something worked out and he can be able to do his thing, let him come on with me for a little bit and then branch out and do his own thing. So stay tuned.
Yeah, man, we can definitely be looking out for that one. And as always, y'all can always like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit us up on IG. Hit us up on TikTok. We're going to try to be more consistent on TikTok. But make sure y'all hit us up, man. Hashtag us, the MF'N Pod. Jock will definitely be back. And we will set something up soon. Jock, we definitely got to talk about some NBA coming up, man. I haven't talked about any NBA yet coming into this 23-24 season. And there's been a lot to talk about. And then not only that, our main show, we got to come back with the main show as well. So we definitely got to have you come back and talk to shit. But in the meantime, make sure y'all check us out. The motherfucking the motherfucking podcast, the MF'N Pod. I'm about to say the damn website. But I had that old muscle memory, man. Hit us up, man. You already know what it is. That's Jock Johnson of the Jock Johnson Podcast. I'm your boy, your host, Beanie Man, a.k.a. Mr. Headquarters. You already know what it is. It's the motherfucking pie.
Yes, sir.